In this installment, we're going to be going over the Draftkings Millionaire to First Place competition showdown slate for Super Bowl 57. This is the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. I cannot wait, and we're going to break it down right now. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your Super Bowl 57 Millionaire Maker Million to First Place showdown slate between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. But before I break down this last one showdown slate that we got left for the NFL football season, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. You guys need to sign up in that link below right now because you are missing out on killer plays. Let's just look at some of the recent plays. On the past Sunday, we had a complete sweep on that AFC and NFC championship game. As you can see right there, the Eagles and the Chiefs were my top two plays. The next day after NBA, we had another sweep here. As you can see, I was all over the Heat +4, Lakers +2, Clippers money line, Bucks first half money line, and the top two plays were Clippers and Lakers. And then last night we went, 5 for 2. We only got the Nets wrong and Thunder wrong. Everything else came through, plus a big underdog here in the Trailblazers. They wound up winning outright, okay? And the Hawks were underdog too. They wind up beating the Phoenix Suns. So guys, you gotta get connected. Sign up for the Patreon right now. Don't miss the plays coming up in NBA, and don't miss my final play for the Super Bowl, plus the props to go along with it. All right, guys, let's get this showdown slate started. And we're going to start off with the possible captain options. All right, first we're going to start off at the top. Shockingly, Jalen Hurts is higher priced than Patrick Mahomes. That's already a shocker right there. Jalen Hurts, you saw a little bit of significance with the shoulder injury in that previous game against the 49ers. Luckily, they didn't need him at 100% for that game. Obviously, 49ers went through injury after injury after injury, and it was pretty much a walkaway blowout for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts did what he needed to do, but he struggled with the deep ball and on some occurrences. If you watched him throughout that football game, hopefully he can get rested up. And the same thing goes for Patrick Mahomes. Hopefully that ankle can get rested up. So these guys are close to 100% for this game, for the Super Bowl. So Jalen Hurts provides high upside, obviously throwing and rushing the football. All right. So now this defense, both sides, okay, Philadelphia Eagles have been, they struggled at the end of the season with some of their numbers. If we're looking at fantasy points allowed to QB, they were 25th and 19th overall. We're going to flip this around, and we're going to slightly adjust this all the way to like around that week 13 area. So the Philadelphia Eagles are right here, 25th and 19th against QBs. Not that many yards. As you can see, 215, 1.6 TDs per game against the running back. That's where it was one of their strong suits. They were 10th in the league, as you can see right here, 23rd overall in the red zone ranking, only allowing 3.5 yards to carry against wide receivers. This is where another one of their strong suits, 13th and 23rd in the red zone. So bend don't break, but in that red zone area, that's where they were giving up some touchdowns, okay, across the board. And their worst area was against tight ends. All right, that goes for both teams. All right, the weakest area for both of these teams, Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs, were against the tight end position. 24th overall, 13th in the red zone, and the Kansas City Chiefs right there, 28th and 27th overall. So that could be a factor that we can go into as we go along this video here. So let's get back to Jalen Hurts really quick, okay? This Kansas City Chiefs defense has stepped up. In their previous two matchups against the Bengals and against the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have 3 interceptions and 5 sacks. So they have been turning the football over, creating havoc, and that's what literally has been getting through the games for them. And Patrick Mahomes has been cleaning up at the end. So Can Jalen Hurts struggle in this game? It's a possibility. We got the shoulder injury. We got this Ladarius Sneed coming back in the secondary. The Kansas City Chiefs pass rush, and Chris Jones, who looks like the defensive player of the year. All those factors can factor in, but we want to play Jalen Hurts in our lineups. Okay, it doesn't have to be in the captain spot. It could be in the flex, but I definitely want to have access to somebody that's going to have a high volume of passes, and he's going to bring upside in the rushing department here and has the possibility to get in the end zone. So they're going to use his key assets here to get first downs, to get touchdowns. Jalen Hurts is someone that we need to have in each and every one of our lineups. He's going to be a play we can definitely consider at the captain, but definitely he should be in each and every one of our lineups. Next guy will be Patrick Mahomes, all right? Now, the Eagles defense has looked phenomenal all year long. They got lucky against the 49ers because it was backup after backup. And then in their first game, they foot stomped. Well, did they foot stomp? It was another blowout. They blew out the Giants 38-7. So this is a different animal, all right? You got Brock Purdy, you got Daniel Jones, but this is Patrick Mahomes. This is literally the number one quarterback in the league. This is the face of the NFL pretty much, especially with Tom Brady out now. Patrick Mahomes is the number one guy. We're not going to shy away from this. What he did against the Cincinnati Bengals defense that's been stout all postseason and season long, he put up 326 yards and 2 TDs. And that was on a bum leg, and it was with third and fourth string wide receivers on the field. Patrick Mahomes is outstanding. This should be one of our top plays at the captain. I'll get to the person though I really, really love. But Patrick Mahomes is going to be a smash play at captain, and definitely a must-have in each and every lineup. All right, definitely have him to flex. Okay, so this could be the game where it could be they're trying to fill each other out in the first 3 quarters. It could be a back and forth type environment. You want to have access to both quarterbacks, and in that fourth quarter, things are going to crack down. All right, they know that's going to be the bread and butter right there. Fourth down is going to be very low scoring. I think they're going to fill each other out, and then the game plan is going to switch. Steve Spagnuolo and defensive coordinator for the Eagles, they're going to switch things up and really hone in on what these teams have been doing to be successful, so they can minimize that. All right, but for the most part, I see high scoring in the first 3 quarters, okay? Next guy we're going to talk about, my real captain of the whole entire slate. That's going to be Travis Kelce. This man is a Hall of Famer right here, another Hall of Famer other than Patrick Mahomes. This man is unstoppable, all right? This is why he's going first rounds in fantasy football drafts. You don't fade him. He's a wide receiver in a tight end's body. You play Travis Kelce and you lock him in. Maybe even at that captain spot, lock him in. I love him. He's my favorite play for the Super Bowl here because of the high volume of targets. Obviously, he's the number one option for Patrick Mahomes, and the main weakness for the Philadelphia Eagles, like I said before, is that tight end position. If we go right here, they are 24th overall, 13th in the red zone, but there's no one that can stop Travis Kelce. They're not going to put Slay on him. They're not going to put Bradbury on him. They have other guys to worry about. Travis Kelce is going to be someone that we must have, all right? Love him at his current price. He's going to see double-digit targets and probably double-digit receptions in this game as well. He's going to get in the end zone. I love Travis Kelce. Let's see if we can find some other gems as we continue to go down. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are key factors here. Ladarius Sneed should be back in this game for the Kansas City Chiefs, so we'll see. He's most likely going to be put on A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is their number one wide receiver, but at this price here, I think I want to go more with Devonta Smith other than A.J. Brown, because he's been getting the same volume, and he's going to see lesser coverage. He's going to see a rookie corner, okay? He's not going to see Ladarius Sneed, who's been outstanding for the Kansas City Chiefs. As you can see, A.J. Brown has been subpar the last couple of weeks. 6.8 against San Francisco, 5.2 against the Giants, 13.5 in those games as well. Obviously, he has a talent to break off any route or any slant. That's usually his bread and butter. But if you feel an affinity towards him, fine by me. But I prefer Devonta Smith here, who's been getting the same amount of volume as you can see. Look at his previous last 5 games: 34.3, 23.5, 13.7, 18.1, and 21. In week 21, obviously, he had 5.6. Okay, they didn't really throw the ball in that game at all. But if they did, Devonta Smith would have been a key factor there. He made that first controversial catch in that first quarter there. But Devonta Smith has been getting a high volume of targets. As you can see, 12, 13, 8, 10, and 3. And then on the other side, A.J. Brown has kind of fallen off just a little bit. Devonta Smith has emerged in his number 2 season. All right, he's looking really, really elite. I like him, and we can save some salary there at $8,600. Okay, let's continue to go down. Isaiah Pacheco here. He has usurped Jerick McKinnon. At the beginning and mid-season, he was looking like their guy that's really breaking out. Obviously, he did it in the playoff stretch last season, but now what I showed, and I spoke in a previous video with Isaiah Pacheco in that Cincinnati Bengals game, he's someone that is just unstoppable. The motor that he has, some of the receptions he came through at the end of that game really were very, very crucial. That's why he has 5 receptions, 6 targets, 59 yards. Usually that is Jerick McKinnon, but the energy he was bringing on, the relentlessness, he was breaking tackles. It was 2 guys he broke off of in that one particular play against the Cincinnati Bengals that broke off for 13, 14 yards. Isaiah Pacheco is the guy we can go to and we can trust in this Super Bowl game here for the Kansas City Chiefs here. McKinnon has fallen down a little bit just behind. If they're going to switch to Isaiah Pacheco getting these receptions because he's more violent and more physical, then definitely we want to take advantage of that. He had a touchdown taken away from him in that previous game because of a holding call. I think we go back to that well. I think he gets a touchdown as well in this Super Bowl. I love Isaiah Pacheco at 7,200. He could be a captain play as well, all right? Miles Sanders, he's just a consistent guy here. He's going to get double-digit touches. The question is he going to get in the end zone? He did against San Francisco, and then previously he's just fallen off. He needs to get in the end zone to pay off his current salary here. I don't expect him to have a huge game, not at all, not like I expected him against the Giants. The Kansas City Chiefs against the run have been pretty good. They stopped Jacksonville and they stopped Joe Mixon in the past 2 games, so I don't see him going off, but if he can get in the end zone or one of those goal line situations, that could be enough in our lineups, all right? So Miles Sanders can be considered more of a flex play, okay? More of a flex play. Let's see if we've had any other captains before we get to that flex option area. And I think I want to talk about Dallas Goedert, right? So I like Devonta Smith. Another guy we can focus on in their pass catching game is going to be Dallas Goedert. So the 2 weaknesses I said for both teams were the tight end position. Let's go back to the list yet again. Kansas City Chiefs, 28th overall, 27th in the red zone, 56 yards, about 6 catches a game, and right around a touchdown per game. So Dallas Goedert, number 88 right there. He's been pretty consistent and solid. He's getting a handful of targets each and every game. He's getting a handful of receptions each and every game. He needs to lock in a touchdown for us to go well above double digits. But Dallas Goedert is someone that's going to give you around that 8 to 15 range that we can key in on and have right in our middle of our lineups. He has the possibility of being a good captain play, but more solidified as a flex option as well. So that's the last guy I'm going to talk about for the captains. Let's move on to the flex plays. On to the flex ops. This is where the bread and butter is going to be made here, guys. So we already talked about the main starters for both sides of the team. We're going to scroll past down here, Dallas Goedert, and we're going to talk about these wide receivers on the Kansas City Chiefs, all right? One major injury here. We got Mecole Hardman will most likely not play in the Super Bowl, all right? They already came out and said, Andy Reid said he does not think Mecole Hardman will be available to play. And this is going to work into the guy that's going to be really, really sneaky. We'll get to him just a little bit later, but we're going to talk about the guys that are going to be there. So we got no Mecole Hardman. That's going to lean more to MBS. MBS stepped up in that previous game against Cincinnati. where he had 6 for 116 and a touchdown. The previous game against Jacksonville, he stepped up with another touchdown. So we got back-to-back games here with Marquez Valdes-Scantling showing up with a touchdown at least. All right, so that's going to be a bright spot here. He has the speed ability to go deep on any route. That's why they went out and got him. So Marquez Valdes-Scantling is someone that we can definitely go towards as a flex position guy. Okay. Next guy we're going to talk about will be Juju. He steps up as the number 2 option in here. We're going to watch news about him. Between Juju and Kadarius Toney, those are going to be the 2 guys that are going to be questionable as we get closer and closer, okay, to the Super Bowl. All right, Toney has a propensity to be injured consistently, and we have here Juju Smith-Schuster came down with a knee injury in that previous game as well. So he didn't practice Thursday on February 2nd, so we're going to wait and watch on news on both of these guys, okay? Juju is highly questionable at 5,600, and then Kadarius Toney is questionable at 4,400. So there could be a scenario that one of them make it, both of them might be out. We are going to wait and see on that, okay? But if those 2 guys are out, the guy that's going to be the dude that stepped up, he made a key play and on that punt return, which I did see that block in the back. I did see the block in the back, but he came up big. He had 7 targets in that game against Cincinnati, 3 receptions, and on that punt return, he was the key factor there to get them in position for Patrick Mahomes. Sky Moore is going to be the guy that's going to be super sneaky that we need to have in our flex spot, and he's going to be super cheap at $3,800 in salary. I love Sky Moore as a pass catching option for the Kansas City Chiefs here. With all the question marks with Juju and Toney, we have to wait and see on that. That's why I said Travis Kelce is such a lock. It's the only reliable person that he really has. MVS is more of a field stretcher. So we're going to lock in Kelce, but the guys that are going to be coming up in the middle will be MVS and Sky Moore. All right. As we continue to go down to other options that we have at the flex position, Kenny Gainwell will be utilized in that pass catching game as well as the rushing. More rushing in the past 2 games because those were blowouts. So we're going to get a little bit of a different game script here for Kenny Gainwell. We're going to see less rushes and probably more receptions opportunities. So that's where you can lean on Kenneth Gainwell in this game in the Super Bowl. Let's see if we find any other options. Now, kickers and defenses here. We could see a big special teams play. We could see obviously turnovers in this game as well. So both defenses are on the table. All right. Both defenses have been very good all season long. The Eagles have been number 1 all year long. So they're going to be both on the table. Let's see. Do I have them in their previous matchup? In their previous matchup, let me show you this just so you know. So in their last matchup in October 3rd, this game, they scored 72 points. Could this happen yet again? It could. This is why I said that there will be 3 quarters of high scoring, and in that 4th quarter, I think things will tighten up. So this could happen again. Somewhere near, 30 points on both teams. It can definitely happen. Jalen Hurts in that game had over 300 yards. Patrick Mahomes had 5 touchdowns in that game. So that's why the 2 key guys we're keying on Hurts and Mahomes and Kelce. Definitely lock in on those 3, and then we're going to work around and find value everywhere else. So for the defenses, it's a give and take. I don't think so. I don't think so in this game. I think there's going to be a high total of points. That's why they got the over-under set at 50.5 currently. It can adjust. We still got 2 more weeks to go through. So we can lean on kickers here. Kickers are definitely going to come up. It's not going to be a touchdown every time. Both kickers are going to be put on the table. Jake Elliott at $4,200 in salary, and Harrison Butker was money in that game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Back-to-back games of 13 fantasy points. So both kickers are on the table. Harrison Butker has been solid all year long, and he was exceptional in his previous 2 games. So both kickers are on the table. Defenses are a high question mark because of these high octane offenses. I think I'm going to stay away from that. Let's see if we can find some other gems at the flex down here, and then we're going to check out, guys, and I'll give you my final three, which I think you already know already. So the number 3 option in the number 4 or 5 option really in this offense for the Philadelphia Eagles will be Quez Watkins. He's the guy that can pop off a screen or a deep play. He's their speedster. That's a dart throw. This is a deep dart throw here, Quez Watkins, if you want to go that route. KC, with the injuries to their wide receivers, that's going to lean in more to the Justin Watson here at $3,000 in salary. Noah Gray, who's a backup tight end at $1,800. Those are going to be guys you could look at right there. So I'll fill out these guys at the bottom. That can be consideration. Justin Watson there. And Noah Gray is a backup right there. Let's see if we have anyone else below them at 1,800. I think we can stay away from these guys. Okay, so the cheapest I will go would be Justin Watson and Noah Gray because of the injuries that they have on KC's with their pass catchers. And one of my favorite punt plays here is going to be Sky Moore. Okay, so we're looking at a main flex guy. Sky Moore is going to be one of our favorite plays. If you want to save salary in this matchup that I think is going to be a high-scoring affair, then we can lean on either one of these kickers here in Jake Elliott and Harrison Butker. All right, so the locks for the Super Bowl that we need to have in each and every one of our lineups, hey, it's pretty much the top 3 guys. We know Hurts is going to be able to be a dual threat. Patrick Mahomes is unstoppable, and Travis Kelce facing his brother, he has been the most consistent player in all of fantasy and all year long. 131 receptions, 1,500 yards. No team can stop this man. Travis Kelce is my favorite play in his whole entire slate. Expect him to have a huge day and get in the end zone. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. And if you want the lock plays for NBA and for the Super Bowl, you got to sign up for that Patreon, all right? Peace out.